Hi everyone, how you doing? I'm back with another review, and this time it's of the roll and write game Three Sisters. So Three Sisters is based on, I believe it's Native American technique of how you grow crops. So basically, if you plant certain things together, they work symbiotically and help each other grow. In this case, you grow corn, and that grows nice and tall, and you grow beans, which are able to climb up the corn, and you grow pumpkins, which help feed the nutrients, and they all work together really well. And so it's really interesting. It's kind of this is the gardening simulator. If you wanted to grow crops but don't have a garden, or just wanted to play a game about it, well, here you go. Um, it's not. I wouldn't have necessarily picked it up. I'm quite picky about my roll and rights, and uh, so I've been growing vegetables in the back garden for a while, and I enjoy it. But my housemate is super into it, and of course, when I bought it, I thought that they'd really enjoy the theme. And sure enough, I brought it, and they're like, "Oh, Three Sisters! I know all about that." So that worked. So what did I think of the game? Well, I think that's the important thing, and that's what we're going to have a chat about. So I said that this is a roll and write, and sure enough, there are dice, and they're actually really beautiful marble dice with little pumpkins on them. In fact, actually, all the components, there's not a lot of components. So there's the roll and write sheets that you write on, there's a game board, which is the round order, and then there's a first player marker, which is this cool pumpkin or squash, and a little gardener. And then also another little wooden block. So the components, there's not many of them, but they're nice and simple, and they fit into this nice small box. So it's nice and portable. Each game you need two player sheets each, which is a little bit. I don't know. So you couldn't have made these sheets any smaller. You couldn't have fit it all on one of these sheets. But does it have to be two sheets? Well, anyway, and on each of them you're rolling dice at the start of the round, and then those dice go onto the board, and depending on where you're starting on the track, you could be anywhere around. So say you're starting on this, go with shed time, and you roll three dice, and you put the lowest one on shed time, the next one on the next action, and the next action, and then you are drafting dice in order. So basically, you can choose which ones you are. So that gives you the dice, which has the number, and it also gives you an action. And then there's a few things that you can do on that turn as well, and use that to fill in these sheets. So I have one that we filled in, although you might not be able to see it. But basically, if you're in section one, if you get a one dice, roll a one, then you can do something in section one. If you get a six, you can do something in section six. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And it might be that you can grow beans, you can water the beans, you can plant some more, or maybe you can go over to the shed and you can get these extra actions, or maybe you can grow some fruits to give you bonuses, or help maintain the bees in the apiary. It's really thematic. It's I don't know. It just sort of makes so much sense with the theme, and it just works. And so yeah, you're just basically drafting dice each round, and then you use them to take the actions that you want, and then you go again. So in the fact that you're drafting dice, there's a little bit of interaction, right? Because it's like, oh, I really want that action, or I really want that number dice. But if someone else takes it, then you can't. So there is a little bit more interaction than, say, Welcome to, where everyone flips and everyone gets the same choice depending on what they've already done. So I like that there is that little bit of interaction, but it's not too much. Like I say, it's a shame that this was across two sheets, and I can't, because you wouldn't have been able to make it smaller, and you also wouldn't have wanted an A4 sheet, because then the box would have been bigger. So I guess this is the only way you can do it, but it's, I don't know, a bit of a pain that you've got these two sheets, but it's a small thing. So yeah, the components are gorgeous. The gameplay is easy. You read through the rule book, and you're up and playing really quickly. It's not a complicated game. There's quite a lot of choices on the two boards, but what you're actually doing is fairly quick and simple. And so I guess what it comes down to is, what do I think of it? Well, like I say, it's very thematic. There's no two ways about it, and I think it works. I think it works as a theme. and I bought it specifically for the theme, even though it's not necessarily my favorite sort of theme. I'm more of a nerd. I want, vampires and fantasy settings, but I knew that my housemate would really like it, and I like it as well. So I bought it for that. It looks beautiful. The components are beautiful. The art's gorgeous. It's lush. And the actual gameplay is really interesting, So, like I say, there's only so many things that you can choose, and it's not too complicated, but you always feel like you have options on your go. You never feel like, well, this is all I can do. It's always like, well, shall I do this, or shall I do this, or shall I do that? And I think that's a good roll and write, because you don't want to be pinned down to the point where, well, I can only do this, or even with Welcome To as an example, sometimes you can't take goes. Now, that doesn't happen often, and it's all to do with how you set up, but sometimes you can be penned into, well, I can only do this. With this game, it always felt like you could take actions anywhere on the 2 sheets, and so that's really good fun. And so I'm mentioning Welcome To a lot just because that is my go-to flip and write, and it's a game that I really love, and it's easily my favorite go-to game. It's my filler game. There's a couple more that I really like, but in terms of this genre, this is the game that that's the game I'm always gonna go to. So the question is, if I have Welcome To, and particularly Welcome to the Moon, am I ever going to play Three Sisters? Because if I have 20 minutes, which one am I going to choose? And I think Welcome to the Moon is still my favourite, but Three Sisters versus Welcome To, I could see me choosing Three Sisters over Welcome To. I think it would be easy to mix. So I'm going to keep hold of this, and I could see that it'd be fairly balanced of which one I pull out. And that's great. That's really good. That's what you want. I don't get as much gaming time as I'd like, but knowing that this is a game that I will pull out and I will play, and I can slot it into those little filler sessions, yeah, really good fun. So if you like your roll and writes, I think this is a particularly interesting one. I like the theme. It is very different to a degree, and it works, and yeah, I just like it. So yeah, glowing review, Three Sisters. Hope you like that review, and with that, until next time, bye.